All right, I suspect this will be a long video. I want to clean up this spot on my stairs, and then I want to put in the windows like I did on another project, or similar to that. We'll see as I design it what happens. And I have created a nice template of all of the different window sizes to select from. So I'll be using the singles uh, and putting some space in between them. So let's clean this guy up first. So I can see that it's not quite in the right spot. So I think the first thing I'll do is annotate, put a detail line right here from the edge of the gypsum board. I'll just go straight across, and then I'll use the align tool to align to this straight line and hit the face of that gypsum board. Moved it up quite nicely. And then it extends a little bit too far. See on my cursor, I have the align tool next to the cursor. So that means that Revit thinks I want to align some objects and I don't. So what I generally do, I either hit escape or just hit the modify button. And now you can see that that's gone. So I'm going to try to grab this guy and just drag him back. And I'm going to cancel that out. I think I pulled it back maybe a little too far. I'll just pull him back about right here. Looks good. Now I'll use this trim align tool for this guy and this guy. And look at that. Now we have a nice smooth transition here. Same thing with the plywood sheathing, comes right into there. So everything looks good there. I'm going to take a second to save my work. And then let's figure out. I think I'll start with a window on the center line. So again, I'm going to annotate detail line SC for typing SC on the keyboard just to get a midpoint line right here. And then let's click on this guy and say create similar, and let's see what happens when I put him into here. That's a pretty narrow window. So I might not like that. All right, so the offset's got to be 4 inches because the brick mold should not be on the brick itself. It should be on the wall. So my inset's going to be 4 inches. That just pulls the window back into the wall by 4 inches where it should be. That looks good, except it's really too narrow. I think it's probably too narrow. But let's take a look at it here. We'll just take a camera view right there just to see what it looks like. All right, that is a pretty narrow window. And it has the divided light, so I'm going to uncheck that because I don't want the lights divided. Okay, so I've got my first window in there. It's way too low. Let's see. Oh, this wall is wrong too. So let's see. This is going to be, go back to the first floor. Remember when I took this wall and made it a full height wall without the bond in the middle? I want to do the same thing to this wall before I go any farther. So we'll go over to the modify tab, create similar, and let's see what happens when we change that to a full height wall. Now you can see there's a match properties icon next to my cursor, so I'll hit the modify button. So I want to grab this window and drag it up a little bit more. Drag this guy down a little bit. All right, so this should go across the top. So I need to raise it up. If you look at the first floor, if you look at that picture, I want to get just some clean windows up there. And so I'll grab this section and I'm going to pull it out to here and flip it. And then go to that view. Let's see what it looks like. So that window, let's start with aligning that window. Okay, so now when I look at my 3D view, the window seems to be in the right place relative to the height of the other windows. That might be okay. Now I can't see it any longer here, so I'll have to go maybe to the second floor plan. Yep, now I can see it. So I'm going to save it again while I just look at it and think about what I want to do. All right, so now I have the one window in and I like it. I'm going to click on it and I'm going up to the Modify tab and over to the array. I've selected a radial array and I'm going to place the center line. So I've hit the place button. I'm going to type SC to select the center of the window. And let's say the center line of the window is here and the array is going to go all the way across to here. So you can see that it's arrayed 3 windows and that's not enough. So I can change that to 5 and let's take a look at that. And there's still too much space in between here. So I'm going to click on the 5 and say 6. And 6 looks like it might be okay, but let's try 7 before we do any more. 7 looks okay too. It'll look better on the inside with 7, but I'm not going to have a lot of room for structure here. So I'm going to go back to 6 because there would need to be some sort of a structural element framing in between here. And we can also take a look here now. For some reason, oh yeah, this guy's not the right wall. I've got this wall isn't lining up anymore on the inside, but I think we're okay with that for now. I'm gonna have to go back and change that wall type because if we take a section through here, let's do that. We'll cut a section through here right now and just go to that section and use the fine resolution. This wall has 2 different wall types here. Well, let's see, that does line up here. So my gypsum board lines up all the way to the top. I just made this wider. We're looking at this part right here. This is the first floor. It lines up fine, but the second floor, you can see that it no longer lines up here. Now I'm trying to figure out what the problem with that is. So I'll go back to this, go to view, and see my gypsum board lines up all the way up. So that should be okay. But when I get down to the first floor, this is in a new spot. See, this looks good. So I'm confused as to why when I get to the second floor, it no longer looks good. Well, let's take a look and see if the 3D view will give me any clue. See, it lines up fine here. Well, I think it might be because this wall is not the kind of wall that I want it to be, because this is a 2-story space also. So I'll use the match properties and click on this guy and then click on this guy, and hopefully that'll clean it up. And then we'll go back to the second floor. It still didn't really do it. Because this wall, this little guy right here is not the right kind of wall. So I'll click on him and see what happens. There we go. Now we fix that problem. If we go back to the 3D view, now you can see that it's a nice clean setup there. All right, so back to the second floor. I want to duplicate what I have here. So let's see if we can just mirror. I'm clicking these 1, 2, these 5. And I'm going to say, let's mirror about the SC. No, I didn't do it right. So we'll start over again. I'm going to hold the control key down so I can select more than one object. I want to mirror that. about SC of there. Okay, there we go. There's my center line. I'll bring an imaginary line straight across that those windows will mirror about. All right, escape, escape. And let's take a look at the view now. They look pretty good. I'll click on this to rotate around that. And there's my first row of windows. I like that. I happen to like that a lot. Now let's go back and take a look at the picture just to see. Okay, so that first set went straight across. The second set is going to get larger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let's see. Each one of these windows, go back to the second floor. Each one of these windows is going to get slightly larger as it comes around. So this will be the smallest window, and then as we come around, it will be the largest window. I'm going to go back to that view again real quick. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 windows here. It looks like maybe there's more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, there's 7 windows there. And in my when here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11 windows here. So this is going to be very different. We'll go to the view and let's just click on, that looks like to be the center guy. I'm just going to grab him and bring him down a little bit. No, I didn't bring him straight down, so I'll use the align tool. Hopefully I can pick the center of the window. No, I didn't do it. So I think I'll just delete that and start again. So I'm just going to copy this guy straight down and use I'm using the arrows on the keyboard. And I'm not sure how much distance I want there, so let's dimension from here to here. It's 8 inches. I don't know if 8 inches will be enough. So I'm going to grab this section and go to that view. I move the section so it goes right through the windows. And VG for visibility graphics. And then over to annotation. And then down to levels. And I'm going to say I don't want to see the levels right now, and say okay. So now I can't see the levels, but I can see the windows. So really, how much do I have between here and here? Let's take and measure that from here. This is that's the bottom of the window. And this is really the top of the window frame. And I'm going to see if I can activate that dimension and change that to 1 foot. Let's see. Yeah, so I'll be able to put a much more desirable amount of structure, because I have to be headers on top of each of those windows. Okay, so I'm going to use that as my height of the windows there. And then I'll go back to the second floor, but let's see. I want to drop my cut plane down so that I can see these windows. So back to the second floor, I'm going to do, actually I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm not changing my original. And now I'll type VG. Oops, I want VR for view range. And I forgot what that number was, but let's cut it at 2 feet and apply it. And 1 foot and apply it. I'm still seeing VR, so I'm going to say 2 feet and apply that. All right, we'll say okay to that for a second. Go back to this is my copy. I'm going to go to that view, and I wanted to, I'm cutting through at 4 feet. Now I wish I had my levels on there, but anyway, I just came down 3 feet. What I want to do is cut through these windows. So we're back to the the copy of the second floor. Oops. And I only want to see that one window. So my view range. I'll make that 1 foot. Let's see what happens. And it may be good. Yep, now I can only see my one window. Now it's located correctly, but it's not the right height. Let's go back. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I said 6 windows. So we'll go here and I'm going to array this again. I want to do a radial array and I'm going to place the center point. SC is the keyboard to get the center point of that. I want to go, oh, I kind of just did that by eyesight, so that's not going to line them up. Okay, back to the second floor. I have to see what the angular dimension is from here to here is 79 degrees. So we'll try that, see if we can do it this way. Click in the window, up to array. We do have the radial selected. I'm going to place the center point. Okay, and then I want to go from here. I want to go 79 degrees. Yep, and we said we don't want 3, we want 6. Okay, so that's going to be fine. I'll save it again. And we'll go back and take a look at this view. Okay, so I think that's fine, except I think I might want to make this wall entirely brick all the way up. But that might be a different tutorial. So we're back to this second floor. And let's do the same thing. Click. I'm doing the control. I'm holding down the control key so that I can grab all of those. And I want to mirror SC, center line of that, and come straight across. And we've mirrored those. We'll go back to that section again, go to view. Yeah, it looks good in terms of the location of the windows, but it doesn't look good in terms of the height of the windows. So back to this second floor. And let's see what this will tell us. I said this is going to be a long tutorial. There's a lot of work involved here. So it looks like this window is too tall. This window's fine, and this window can be a little bit taller. So if I click on this window, we'll ungroup it so it's not part of the radius anymore or the array anymore. And I'm going to escape. Let's try match properties. Let's pick this window and say match properties and come over here and do that to this window. No, that didn't work. Because I can see I can make this window a little bit bigger, taller. But match properties, let's try it one more time. Match properties, select this guy. I'm going to come over here and select this guy. Yep, he got a little bit bigger. And so we'll come back and align them. So that looks good. This guy might have to get a little bit smaller. This guy's okay. This needs to get a little bit bigger. So the next one I want, we'll say match properties, and I'm going to pick this one and then click on this window. Let's see what happens. Oh, ungroup it. Okay, I didn't ungroup it from the array. And then we'll click on this right here. All right, it looks like it could get a little bit bigger. But what I definitely want to do now is I've got some work going on here. I want to make sure that I save my work. So now let's see, hit the modify tab to get rid of that. action that Revit was trying to do. So I've got, this is the same as this. This is the next size, which is this one. This is the next size, which is same 1, 2, same 1, 2. So this is the next one that I want to use. So I'll say match properties, and I'll click on this guy, then come over here and click on this guy. And let's see what happens. Oh, it's going to give me that ungroup. I didn't ungroup it again, so we'll ungroup it. It's made that window larger. So let's see if we can align the tops of those windows. It's still coming down. Let's take a look at that section. Again, I'm doing work that I don't want to lose. So I'm going back and saving my work. And let's go back to any floor plan actually now. And I just want to make sure that I don't remember what the name of that section is. It's 2. Okay. So if I remember 2, then I'll be able to go back to that. So look at this. It's starting to cascade down. It might not be cascading down in the same relationship from the steps as we're going up, or the treads. So this guy might be farther away from this tread than this guy is from this tread. So this might not be working. So same 1, 2, 3. So now I want to pick the 4. Same 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I'll click on this window to make it active. Same 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the guy we want. Come over here and click on him. Okay, again, I forgot to ungroup it. So now we can still align to the top of this window. So I'll use the align tool. I'm going to click right there, and then I'll click right there. And that should align them. So it is getting bigger, but I'm going to probably have to go back in and make these all custom windows in terms of the height, so that every tread that you're on has the same distance from the tread to the bottom of the window. So there's a tread here, bottom of the window, a tread here. So this might be an issue. But anyway, again, I'm going to save it. And then we'll go back. So it's same 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I need the 5th window. So I'll click modify to get rid of a command. Same 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to make this window. All right, so I'm going to say match properties, same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'll come over here and click on this window. So it's not only going to be expensive in terms of purchasing windows, but it's going to be even more expensive because they're not going to be, I'm sure they're not going to be standard window sizes. Okay, so we'll duplicate this again. Now see, I have that little align icon next to my cursor. That means that Revit is expecting me to do an align command. I don't want that. I'm going to hit escape. Usually I hit escape twice. All right, so now same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be this one here. So this is the active window, match properties. And we said it was going to be this one, and then come over here and click on this guy. And I keep forgetting to ungroup them. So now align. I pick the top of the window, make sure I get the absolute top. And I think this is the guy that I want. Yep, it's getting a little bit bigger. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back and save it. All right, got this guy. So that's going to be the last one. Activate this window, click on match properties, come over here and click on this guy. I keep forgetting to ungroup, align. I want the top, absolute top of this window and the top of this window. All right. And so I know that I have to make all of these windows custom sizes. So I'll just say match properties to this window and this guy. And again, ungroup, align, and I'll come over to the top of this window and then pick the top of this window. Because I don't have another size here. I've gone through my whole standard sizes. And I know I'm going to have to modify this guy. And I know I have to modify this guy to be even a little bit smaller. All right, so I've got a rendering here. As you know, it's always nice to put the rendering in. So I can see some of the things that I need to do. I'll make a mental note of that. Still got to fix the steel beam. It's not fitting in here. The width of the flanges are too much and it's extending past the wall. So that's bad. Here's my top row of windows. It looks good. Here's my next row of windows. And I didn't notice this from the section view that there's another window here that has to be put in. And we don't need this second railing. So I'll end up taking that out quite shortly. But that's basically what I'm trying to do. And it looks like some of these windows have dividers in them, so I'll have to take those out too, because I don't want any dividers in my windows. But maybe I do. I don't want them on this row, but maybe I do on this one. That's a possibility for the future. But anyway, let's go back to, I have a lot of tabs open here. So I'm going to say I have this little, I've added this to my quick access toolbar. It's close inactive windows. So it's going to close all of the tabs that I'm not using. So I'll click on that. And then I can go back and open just whatever I want. So what did we say here? All right, well, let's take a look at, let's take this section and drag it over here and flip it real quickly and take a look at that view. So we'll go to that view now. And I could WT. Now I have all these views at the same time, which is nice. I don't need this railing, so I'm just going to click on it and delete it because I don't need that railing. I need the one on the outside, but I don't need the one on the inside. And you can see what I was talking about now. Each one of these treads need to be the same distance away from the windows. And it looks like those windows are, I can make them a lot deeper than they are right now. All right, so that looks good. Let's do this. Let's try our modify match properties. And we'll click on this guy right here. And then we'll click on this guy right here. And again, I forgot to unjoin. So this guy, I'm going to align. And I know that it's not going to be, these windows are not going to be the height that they're shown right now. I'm going to have to go in and modify each and every one of those windows so that there's a equal relationship there between the distance from the tread to the bottom of the window. I want to make sure that there's some symmetry there. All right. So that's going to be a lot of work because I'm going to go to my second floor copy now. And let's say that this is the tread. So if I take a section now and go from the, let's see if I can pick the center line of it. No, I can't. All right, so I'll just go from here right through that tread in that window just to see what's going on there. All right, so change that to fine resolution. And you can see that this is that window that's a little bit too tall. It's coming through the stringer of the stairs. So that's going to have to get smaller. It's going to have to get less tall, not stay the way that it is. So there's a lot of work here, as I mentioned before. And you may not have something like this in your project, but some of the things that I'm doing, as you see how I do them, you might look at it and say, well, I'm not doing exactly what Professor Bryce wants, but I do have similar requirements in my project, and so when you see how I accomplish what I'm trying to do, it might be beneficial to you in order to accomplish what you want to do. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, the basic idea of what I wanted to do, I've demonstrated, and I think I'll stop the tutorial here, only because it starts to explain what I'm trying to do. It's maybe relevant to your project. It may not, but I'll continue on in the next recording.